Okay, Ahmed and Zahra, welcome to my podcast.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here.
So excited.
Thank you. It's really nice to be here.
Oh, thanks. Thanks a lot. How did you guys meet? School?
Ooh, long time ago. Yeah.
20 something
20
years ago?
22 years ago at university. I mean, I'm still 25. We're still 25 years
Yeah,
old.
that's
But
very
we
long.
met when we were 20.
We're
22.
5.
Yeah.
20 years ago at university?
22.
No.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Shh, don't
You're very young.
We were very young. I said
Yes.
I'm 25.
Yes.
No. We're old people. We just look young.
Yeah, we met in 2001 at AUS. We both took the bus together
You had
go
to say
home
AUS? I wasn't going to name it.
at a university.
Yeah.
It's not like, which one? Like AUD you prefer?
No, it's just AUS. I spent too many years there. That's why it still
Okay.
traumatizes me. But yeah, it was on a bus. We took the bus to university. That's how young
He
we
was
were.
back then?
He was really quiet. He was
Yeah?
very shy. Yeah. And he was the guy on the bus that was known for being the movie guy.
Yeah.
So he always had all the movies like stashed, like VHS movies.
Like, the fake DVDs they would sell.
Yeah.
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 So I would always have the latest ones and just,
Give it out to people on the bus. That's how we met.
yeah.
Yeah.
Zahra was always quiet. She thought she was a little too cool for us, first of all.
Yeah.
She was very punk
wasn't
slash
really-
emo.
Emo?
Okay, punk.
I'd like to think I was very hard rock.
Yeah.
Sounds cooler than emo.
She had like a chain
Yeah.
and
It's very different.
always read a book. I think she was just using it as a prop mostly, but
Listen, we lived in Jumeirah. To drive at 6 a.m. on a bus from Jumeirah to Sharjah was a long time, so I needed to read a book. I was reading a book. But yeah, we were both very quiet. I think at that point we were so young and shy. But I think we just bonded on the fact that we had to take the bus to university.
That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah. I think that's it.
well, I think we quickly realized how our sense of humor is so similar, and I think that's what usually makes
Your sense of
friends.
humor is very smart. Is really smart humor, and you dig deep. You know, it's always around human nature and human attitudes, and even when you watch movies or series, you just like go to all the relationships and all these topics, and then we like I watch movies and series, but I don't see the details that you see, man. You dig so deep inside.
Yeah, Ahmed's really good at picking like the nuances of movies. Like he's really good at it. I don't know where he gets it from.
I'm just laughing at the word nuances. When
Big
Zahra
words.
tries to be like pretentious and use big words,
I
right?
like
Yeah.
to use big words in front of Ahmed to confuse him. But yeah, he's really good at picking the right timings and like storylines in movies that we wouldn't usually do. And I think that's where what makes him so unique.
Always the critique, like they are doesn't agree with most of the things in the society, and then it kind of like they are the only people and they are creative, and they are the only people who notice these differences or these things that's happening in the society, and they became so artists because they don't like to live with the fact that this is okay or this is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm always for, things to be fair and justice. And when I see injustice, it just really annoys me, especially when it comes to like just being a decent human being. A lot of things we do, just in general, our, what's the word?
Our culture,
Not our culture.
society.
Yeah, but as a society, our priorities are so messed up about the things we look up to and idolize and stuff. So, and sometimes using humor to point that out is a nicer way of doing it than doing it in an angry, preachy way. So,
Yeah, I think that's what we have in common is that we use humor to mask our disappointment, our trauma. Yeah.
yeah, I think our humor does come from a place of like a defense mechanism, something we had to do growing up to just, I I won't speak for Zahra, but just growing up, being bullied and all that stuff, you had to figure out a defense mechanism. And for me, it was always like humor. Later on, I found out is how I could deal with this stuff, and or bring up topics to talk about it in a funny way, in a non-threatening way, because you know, it'll make the person you're talking to a little bit more at ease to want to talk about it as well. And yeah,
it's a nice way to express yourself in that way. It's always it comes from like inside, where you know, all critiques, they have the mechanism that you're talking about. It's just like I want to express myself. Maybe I couldn't at a certain period of time, but now I have a way, and it always comes. It's either humor or very artistic vision. You can see it very well. I don't know if I put it in the right way, but all we have Ziad Rahbani, if you know him in Lebanon. He's just like he's always a big artist, a musician, but he did a lot of plays, and he was always criticizing the society about things that we all see, but we kind of get used to it, and we don't see it's wrong. And then when he highlights it, and it makes sense, you know.
For sure. And it took me years to understand how my brain works, because with creativity and stuff comes a lot of like, you know, depression and stuff, and you just don't know how to normally deal with these things, right? So I am grateful now that I understand how my brain works, and that I'm able to creatively, you know, just have an outlet, whether to do it in a funny way or a dramatic way. For me, it's like therapeutic. It's a little therapy session. Whatever's bothering me, I write it down, put it out, and kind of give it that closure and move on. So yeah, it's nice. It's fun.
Are you frying with your voice?
Because of that video.
Yes, exactly. And you come up with these ideas from videos, and you're putting it together as artistically. You're filming it, and picking the right you know, segments from movies. Do you edit yourself? Do you everything A to Z?
Yeah, film, edit, write it, and I do everything on my phone. I love filming on my phone. You know, if you know your angles, you have good lighting, good sound, you're good. Nobody's gonna notice the difference. I've shot segments for TV on my phone that's gone on TV, and people haven't even noticed. So it's just how you use it. And well, it came with years of like practicing and stuff, but I think it's great. You know, our iPhone shoots in 4K. What more do you want for social media?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
yes, it's gonna kill our industry, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, there's that. My fear is the editing apps that are coming out that just literally does everything for you. And that freaks me out a little bit. I'm like, what was the point of film school and all these years of... But at the end of the day, there's still a difference between somebody who knows a little bit of history and using angles, not just because it looks good, but I chose to film it this way because it pushes the narrative and gives it an extra layer of meaning. You know what I mean? So there's always that difference, whether the viewer gets it or not. I think on some subconsciously it'll get into their brain, and they'll, you know.
Yeah, I think also the less production is put into a thing to express is just more relatable to people.
Especially now. That's why TikTok is so big. You know, people are over this pretty Instagram image. It's still there. It's got its audience, but with TikTok, it's just a whole. There's no BS. You know what I mean? Every time if you come off a little bit fake, people will point it out and just move on. So
you talked about this in the influencers, and how brands are kind of they are the influencers are losing some of their genuinity that was before, because they are pushing brands that they probably don't believe in,
and just the way they talk about things. I'm like, who's still falling for this? You know what I mean? Like, who's still falling for the picture of the pretty girl holding the product? I'm like, well, what do I know about it now? And do these still sell? I just don't understand. Maybe they still do, but I'm trying to understand it, that who's still falling. I know the new generation is not. They're so smart. They're so funny. And I'm so jealous of them that they have this kind of they just are
They're
so
more
with
aware.
it. Yeah.
They're so much more aware. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think, Zahra? What's the reason behind people not accepting anymore any polished, staged content? Even like I'm in the industry, so whenever I do a perfect job in terms of like technical and this, it gets less attention, while you have to keep some balance in between.
I think now the viewers are not dumb. They know because they have access to things to make a picture look that good. So they know, and they're in it themselves, where they take something and they can make it look like it's fabulous when it's not. And I think that's what people just don't want to be lied to anymore. So they know when this is fake, they can see that this isn't real. And they want something where they can relate to. I think that escapism is something that they still, yes, love. But I think now they just want something that they can relate to and feel like, listen, this could be me. I could put myself in this picture and it could be my life. And I think they want that. They want that connection with people. So I feel like the more raw and real, I don't want to keep saying the word authentic because I feel like that's been like killed. Nothing, everyone that's saying authentic isn't actually being authentic. But I feel like that's what people want. And honestly, that's like you said, that's why TikTok does well, because it's so unpolished, so real. And that's what people want.
I feel that we've been pushing this content before to people and always selling product. Whenever they see a polished image, there is a product that we are pushing to sell. And then people were like, they couldn't do anything because they didn't have the media, they didn't have the camera, they didn't have this. So they had to watch and go buy and fall into it. And then like it's been for hundreds of years, you know, in radios, magazines and TVs. And this is what we watch. We watch ads and we go buy to try because she's looking beautiful or the whole thing is amazing. And now we just like, it's a revenge. I feel like people are, you know, it's like, okay, I know what's behind this. I know that you media, you put a lot of money, you brought the model and this is the model. She's tall, she's skinny, she's pretty, and this is how you push that content. And I always go and buy your product. So it's something to their payback time.
Well, the reason influencers in the first place became a thing and why influencer marketing became a thing, because they were relatable in the beginning. It was the young girl in her bedroom talking about the product or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, we hadn't seen that before. It's like, oh, so other young people would look at her as like, that looks like my bedroom. She looks like me. She talks like me. So yeah, it was a lot more, you know, real and...
Yes.
But that's shifted now.
That's shifted, yeah.
But, excuse me, I think it comes back to how the brands are working with the influencers and they're kind of encouraging this behavior. And I think you can get lost in all that noise of, oh, the brand wants to work with you, they want to pay you this much, and they have specific guidelines that you have to follow, so it all ends up being very addy. You know, so I think it's there are influencers that are still really trying. I've seen a few that are really trying to stay like themselves and make it feel like it's not an ad. And I think that's what annoys people, where they're like, it's an ad again. Like, it's always an ad. Like, stop. Like, tell me about what you really want. And it's a shame because the correct type of influencer should be talking about things that are ads and that are not ads as well. You know, if you are speaking, let's say this is what you're promoting and it's not something that you would promote ever, that's where you lose the viewer because you're obviously just doing it for the money. So I think it's about finding that right balance, and there are some people that are still doing it.
Yes, but at the end of the day, there are some guidelines, deliverables, and there is money put into it. It's really hard to find the balance, and it's hard on the influencers as well. I mean, she wants to be genuine, but she wants to make money as well.
Yeah, it's become a business for them. But that's why I say it's the brands. The brands need to give, if they do want to work with someone and they want to pay them, and that's great, but also give the freedom of the influencer to do it their way, because that's how they've done it this whole time, and they've grown to who they are now. So
yeah, there's a reason why you picked this person. So let them do it in their own way and style, rather than here's a brief, do a TikTok dance, we created a song for you. It's like, it makes no sense.
And also brands need to work with influencers that fit their DNA as well.
Exactly.
You can't have a brand about oranges talking about going and working with a influencer that talks about, you know, apples. It doesn't make sense. Like, you have to make sure that you're aligned, because the problem is people keep just looking at numbers and popularity, but if it doesn't fit for your brand, why are you working with this person? And I feel that especially in our region, people fall into that a lot.
The numbers and yes. And you talked about this, Ahmed. You mentioned that the influencers has to be selected by how much they love the brand or they believe in it.
They need to be somebody who's a customer themselves to whatever they're selling. You know what I mean? So that's the best person to go with.
But then if they're not as famous as somebody who's celebrity, doesn't maybe buy the brand, but they are super famous. I mean...
But that's the other thing, right? It's like, yeah, they've got all these, like, you know, there's certain people who do like very childish, and it's fine. It's catered to children, the way they talk and their YouTube. They're so loud and, you know, that old type of like YouTube vlogging style. And kids love that kind of stuff. But then they're like in couture week sitting there all dressed up, and it's like, well, that's not her audience. Like, even if she posts this, it's a bunch of like 10-year-olds watching it.
Yeah.
They're not going to buy these dresses. Go with the smaller influencer who is glamorous and does live that lifestyle, but has like a quarter of her following. It's beneficial for both people. You're just wasting your money.
I agree. I feel like this might be a bit controversial, but I feel like influencers shouldn't be categorized as celebrities. I don't know, that's just me. Celebrities are something else. So if you're looking for someone with all that following but doesn't suit your brand, just go with one of the celebrities. Yeah, maybe the pricing might be different. That's a whole other story. But some people argue with what you said is that, oh, but these are their future customers coming in. And I highly doubt it. I remember following a few people when I was younger, and now I don't, because I'm like, they're not my style. And I don't think back, oh, she used to wear this. No, I would think that's so dated. So it doesn't make sense for brands to be like, but there will be our future clients, when by the time they have the capital to buy the product, they're not their fans anymore. So again, it goes back. I don't want to keep blaming the brands, but it goes back to them doing their research.
I think they have a harder, task now, how to spread the branding or to make a proper marketing. It's just like maybe they have to go wider instead of just narrow, and to go with different influencers, and also talking about this is the way also they are empowering, whether they wanted that or it happened, diversity and different type of models or different type of people. And it's just like they are looking for relatable people now. It's just the standards of beauty has changed totally. And because people has pushed back and said, okay, you know what, I need somebody to look like me. And now you see it in the runways, you see it everywhere. It's just like girls, guys, and different shape, different, like, I don't want to say, but we were used to, okay, he's not tall or she's not tall, and why he's on the runway or why she's on the runway. I mean, now it's okay. I mean, who said that they have to be tall? Who said that they have to be skinny?
Yeah. No, I agree. But do you guys feel like it's become an extreme? So before it was all the skinny, tall girls, and now they're like, okay, we want to be inclusive, so we're going to do the big girls, or like the older woman with gray hair. And you're like, what about the in-between?
Well, the issue is they still have the same models, and then you have the one plus size model who's not even like plus size. She's still beautiful. Like, not that, you know what I mean? It's just they're trying to tick a box or something, like, oh, we did the diversity thing.
I feel like it's a really up and down. 1 minute suddenly they're all like, yeah, let's be inclusive, and then it's kind of like they forget, and then they have that one token, person of color or like oversized or whatever, young, older model, and then it goes quiet again, and then it's back to their normal. Because that's what happened now at this fashion week, the one that just passed. They were complaining that there was no inclusivity again. It's gone back to their old ways. So
it's not trending anymore.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because, okay, it's the beauty standard. That's what we are searching for. So is there a beauty standard, or shall we just like remove the beauty standard totally? What is beauty?
I think it also, the world is so big. And we all have such different definitions of beauty. Like what we think is beautiful in the Middle East is probably not what's beautiful somewhere else, you know? So that's also quite difficult to gauge, I guess. You can't make everyone happy. I agree with that.
And
but
we have a long way to go.
Yeah,
They've just started
yeah.
trying to figure it out, find that balance, right? So
Yeah, but I think it should be something where it's always being spoken about or being done, rather than it being trendy 1 minute and then the next minute no one cares anymore.
But shall we keep the standards, like, or the idol in as a picture? I mean, like somebody to look up for. Like let's talk about from a physique, for example. So an idol for somebody who makes sports, and maybe he just take care of his body. And I mean, are we moving that away and we're saying no, he's not an idol, anybody can be? I mean, it's just
I think we're humans. We're still very superficial. So there will always be that one beautiful thing that we like to see all the time. Don't you think?
it's just been so engraved in us, that image of what beauty is, it's become really hard to break away from that. And we know, like, logically, yeah, like beauty comes in all shapes and forms and whatever, but the brain is still not, you know, our actions are not really following reflecting of what we want. We know what the right thing is, but it's just been so engraved in us that we still can't help and see somebody who's traditionally classically beautiful and be like, yeah, they're hot. You know what I mean? Like, I want to look like that. And I'm hoping, again, with like Gen Z and TikTok, the way I see these kids talk about things and about themselves and about how they, you know, bullying's not even cool anymore. Being the mean girl is not even a thing. And they usually immediately shut it down when somebody's doing that. You know what I mean? So that's what I love about them. They're so
they're changing,
supportive of each.
narrative.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, I have hope. I mean, they're not perfect.
Where do you like to see it, and how do you like to see it? I mean, you would like to have a balance, have an idol that it's standard in a way that it has maybe related to health or certain looks, or you want it wide open?
It's not just about beauty. I think the conversation these kids are having is about a lot more.
More substance.
Yeah, they've pointed out everything we've been doing wrong. Everything the generation before us have been doing wrong, and then we were in the middle being miserable because of all the you know wrong things they're doing, and then this new generation is trying to fix it now.
Yes.
Yeah.
They've pointed it out. They put words to it, to things like we couldn't put words to, or we're like, yeah, no, that's why they're so funny. Like, I love TikTok. I'm like, yeah, you point out things that we do wrong every day, and you make fun of it, and you make fun of us, but I get it.
Yeah, because we thought it was normal when actually it's not. So yeah.
Just everything in general, even the way we work, you know, this whole hustle culture and whatever, it's insane. Like, what are we working for? We're not enjoying whatever you know, the money we're making from it, or it's just like on to the next thing. And, you know, they make these jokes about like, oh, it's 4:00, bye. They just leave. Like, I'm not staying. I have rights, and they know their own rights. They know their human rights, what's right or what's wrong, and they actually follow it and confront you. You know what I mean? I love that about them.
We were talking, me and Tamara, about this topic. Tamara is our editor, and she was telling me this generation is a hard worker. I said, no. And she said, no, they are. And it's like, I
think they work smarter, not harder.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. They're much more smarter of how to get the job done without busting, you know, your back. Like, that's what I think it is. But yeah, no, they don't work harder.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we are the older generation and we think that. And I have a mix between, is it the generation or is it COVID as well that changed things? And it's just like, okay, I want to work from home and this much I can give. And it's really, I don't know. Maybe the analytics can tell us like how much they are
I think,
achieving, earning. Or
COVID has completely changed how we think about things. I honestly, I always say this. I was like, you know what? COVID humbled us a little bit, made us more patient, but it's not really. Some people came out worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've come to realize that life's too short, I guess. At any moment, it could be just ripped away from you, just like how COVID did. So again, it's about working smarter, not harder.
Tell me about this AZ show. I mean, it's so funny. It's so nice. It's so relaxing. It's so genuine. And I mean, the way you're sitting on the sofa, eating chips and talking and playing, and it's so nice and new. Who came up with this idea?
Okay, so we sit and talk together like all the time, and we talk. Like, can I swear? We talk.
Yeah,
like,
you can.
We talk shit. Like, we don't, stupid conversations we have, and we make ourselves laugh. So for years, how many years have we been talking about this?
It's honestly since college.
Yeah,
We've said it. What's the thing we say after everything?
Every time we like say something and we start laughing, we're like, why don't we have our own show?
Yes. It's like, I wish this was recorded. Yeah.
But the thing is, this is something a lot of friends do, and which is why people like the show,
because they relate to it. See?
We've all said it. We like, every friend group is like, we should have our own show. We'd be so funny. We should have our own reality show. It just got to a point where like, let's have our own show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let's just do it.
Yeah.
And people think it's scripted. It's not. It's literally us sitting on the couch, eating, just like you said, and just thinking of topics to talk about, like just like from out of nowhere. And we just
just roll with it.
Yeah. I mean, the best one I liked is that when you talked about economics, and then you need to buy, and it's the right time, and it's just like,
I swear,
it's
like,
crypto.
That's how we talk.
We made it sound as a joke, but we really don't know what that stuff is.
But that's everyone.
I think a lot of us,
I think even the ones that think they know what they're talking about don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, I mean, that's just how it came about. It's funny because initially I told Ahmed, I'm like, no, let's not post this. It's so stupid. People aren't going to find it funny because it's us and we've known each other for so many years. It's our own little jokes, no one's going to get it. But he really pushed for it to be like, to push it up live. And I was like shocked.
No, it's most of us. Who knows? I mean, except if you're even expert, they feel like, and then the economy crashes, like he's quiet.
Because in my head, I'm like, well, why can't we just print more money?
Yeah.
Isn't there a machine just prints it?
Yeah.
Problem solved.
They don't teach these things in school, so we can have to figure it out.
Well, they probably did. I just didn't have any interest in it.
Economics class, yeah, that's true.
My mind just does not comprehend these things. It just doesn't. I can't, even if I tried. It's just not for me. There's things I'm good at and the things I'm not, and I'm very honest about it. I'm like, I can't. Politics, I can't talk to you about it. So, I'm not book smart. If I say maybe emotionally, I wouldn't even say street smart. Like,
I would just say
we've
you're
never
creative.
been on the streets.
But you're creative and you are smart about your creativity. And this is what I said in the beginning. The humor is smart.
We all have our own thing.
Yeah.
I know where my strengths are.
Yes.
And where my weakness is. So I'll just play my strength.
But I agree with you. I mean, most of probably, I can't generalize, but the creative people it's in business, maybe they don't do as well as
oh my god, absolutely,
it's true,
which is why I'm so poor. I can never put me in a room to negotiate. I'll cry. I can't. I'll just be like, yes, sure, anything for free. For you, for free.
Zahra, you are creative, but I feel like you're just also a businesswoman. Can I say that?
I mean, I guess I'm pretending very well because I don't see myself as that, but yeah, I guess.
No, she is.
Yeah, I guess I am. Again, it's that self-deprecating humor that we're very good at. So, I think definitely Ahmed is the more creative person in this duo. And I'm very much inspired. I don't tell him this a lot, but I very much see. This is why I don't tell him. He inspires me.
She always wants to have like an emotional moment with me.
Yeah.
Every time there's stuff, she's like, she gives me this look, and I'm like, I don't want it. Don't want to do feelings.
I feel like I'm at an age now where I like to express my feelings, and he just doesn't let me have my moment. But yes, he is the creative one, and I guess I'm the business one. I am much smarter than you. That is correct. I will take that.
You
But,
had a job in Vogue as a
Yes.
editor, and you left and you opened your own company.
Yeah, so I actually was part of the launch team for Vogue Arabia. So we launched both the digital and the print magazine, which was an incredible experience. And then I left and freelanced for a little while, and then I decided to start my own thing. And yeah, it's been about 4 years now that I have my own thing, and it's been great.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, it's a hard decision for a lot of people. Although we're seeing a lot of freelancers and people who are entrepreneur and liking, just to open their own thing, own business, I guess not everyone can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, nobody will work.
Yeah, exactly. I think it really takes a certain personality. I'm not saying that I have it. I still struggle a lot, but yeah, I think I love the freedom of where I don't have to report to anyone. I think that was the biggest thing when I had a job, is reporting to people. And because we're quite creative, we have our own time of doing things, our own way of doing things. So in that sense, it's a lot better. It's a lot more working for yourself, which I'm sure you know, where you have to have so many different hats on. But I think the freedom of like, you know what, I'm just gonna go to the beach today and like deal with the emails later in the evening and not have to ask anyone permission for that. I think that's what I love the most.
Amazing. And you, Ahmed, I think you have your ego as well.
Yes. Absolutely. Which is why I started freelancing. It was so difficult to have to answer to people. I'll take criticism. It just depends who's the person criticizing me. Unfortunately, in my head, everybody's stupid.
Yeah.
So clearly it's a me problem. I know that. But I try to, compromise, but I hate it. My way or
the highway.
Or it's stupid, yeah.
I put some points here, some topics from your Instagram.
Okay.
Which is amazing. You talked about love and relationships.
A topic he's
very interested in. And you
Yes.
said I just went to stage 1, but tell me all the stages again.
Oh, about the 5 stages of love
Yeah,
video I
and
did?
there were 4. I was disappointed at the end. I wanted to know the 5th stage.
I mean, I'll never get there, so I'm like, why even bother researching that? So just forget it.
So the 5th is when we die together?
No, that's not. No, I was just exaggerating there. But yeah, I think you want me to go through them, or
I mean, you can, or just we want to open about the relationship.
just love in general and my interest in it.
Yes.
I think just thematically, just as a theme for content and stuff, I've always really been drawn to very over the top, melodramatic side of love, kind of obsessive. Because when I was younger, I kind of was like that. That was how I would fall.
You still are.
I'm not like that
You're
anymore.
dramatic, you're romantic.
I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm really not that anymore. But I still love to explore those topics when it comes to like videos or writing or whatever. I just find it interesting.
Yeah,
like,
you talked about ghosting. Have been ghosted before?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been ghosted. I've ghosted. And I think, it depends when you do it. It always sucks. Like, it's always going to hurt no matter what. Like, whoever happens and says like, oh, I don't care. They care a little bit. Because you were vulnerable for a little bit at least. And you pursued somebody. You opened yourself up a little bit. And then they completely dropped you, It's going to hurt anybody. But it depends. I think sometimes if it's just like you go on one date and it wasn't that great. And then they text you, you don't want to text back. That's fine, like I think they'll get over it.
I've been friend ghosted a lot, so that really hurts. Yes.
Oh. And is it as he mentioned, the confrontation, and they are just afraid to just to talk about it? They just ghost.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's okay.
I mean, yeah, if somebody's so emotionally intelligent and comfortable talking about their feelings and stuff, great, but there's a lot of us are not like that, and it's like, and you don't want to be like that all the time with everybody, so you just pick and choose who you want to.
I don't know, I think ghosting I'm not a fan of it. Maybe I'm old, I don't know, but it's respect. Like,
Yeah.
Even when you're dating someone, if it's not good, just say, listen, it's not working out.
It's not working.
Yeah, don't ghost someone. Because also I get worried and I'm like, oh my God, did they die? Like, did something happen? Do I need to go like knock on their door and like see if they're okay? And I just think it's not nice. Like, I've given my time to get to know you and of respect you, but then you decide like, you know what, I'm not having any of it. So I'm not going to tell you no. I'm just gonna like disappear. I don't know.
Sometimes because we think that we are nice in a way, that we have given a lot of promises, and then we change our mind, you know. And we are. It's so hard, you know, just to confront somebody and say, I changed my mind on everything because I promised so much, you know.
Yeah. And it is the cowardly thing to do. You know what I mean? That's for sure. Because if you when you don't give any if you give them the reasons, it's still gonna hurt, but at least you'll get the closure. You'll be like, okay. But if they just completely disappear without telling you, and if somebody's a little bit insecure, they'll go crazy. They'll be like, what did I do? Is it because I said that? Is it because they noticed the thing I hate about myself, or like something physical, or you know what I mean? So
oops. What was that?
Yeah.
So that part of it is, you know, it's not fun.
But sometimes we fall into a relationship as well because we either didn't ghost or we didn't face. We just like, okay, I told, and also in marriage, it happens a lot. It's just like, I told my family, I told this, and friends, and committed here, I made a party, I announced, I told, you know, there's a lot of things. Just to go back is harder and harder, because and it's also the partner would play a role as well. They put more pressure. Oh, I love what you did, and these things, you know, from both parties, and it comes like, okay, maybe they,
like, I don't want to disappoint everybody, so
yes,
let me just settle and go for this. Yeah, that's horrible. For the person, for everybody, it's horrible. Like,
and you live it end with the breakup or divorce at the end, you know.
Sure.
It's like you lied to yourself first. So
I don't know, again, I think it is very difficult to confront people and to disappoint people, but I think especially with our region, we're very about like, what are people gonna say? We do everything, our actions, our lives are lived on what the neighbor is gonna say, or what Ali is gonna say, or you know what I mean, stuff like that. And I think we need to stop, because the only person that's gonna suffer is you, and you're also gonna put someone else in a situation where it's gonna suck for them, you know. So I don't know. I think I'm at an age, again, I'm old now.
You're not old, come on.
So I feel like I'm a little bit wiser, where I'm like, just talk, just like, yes, no, boom, end the story, or like whatever, and get on with life. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but it's better to know where you stand than just to be left in this limbo for both parties. That's what I think.
Yeah, also the parents put some pressure, you know.
Yeah.
It's like the mother or the father or the whole family is just like, we love you and you.
Yeah, I know it is. The guilt is very strong, but
then getting into any relationship, there's going to be a risk, right? If you're going to open yourself up, you just have to go in. Yeah, I may give a lot of myself, and they may not give that back. You know, just because I do that doesn't mean I have to expect other people. Yeah, you will expect it no matter what. It's gonna hurt. But the sooner you just accept the fact, is just easier for you to, not everybody's like that. Some people, you know, just trying to get to the acceptance phase as fast as you can, just for your own good, and not sit there and dwell. And yeah, it's harder for you.
Great. It's like that with every relationship.
Okay, love bombers. Explain
love
that.
Bombers.
Yeah.
So love bombing is something that's been happening, you know, forever. There's a term for it now, and it's these people. It's usually men who do it, who, you know, a lot of people who get into toxic relationships, and the person doing the love bombing will just shower with compliments, like just from the first date, like, oh my God, where have you been all my life? Like, you're perfect. Oh my God, I can't wait to they'll just really be very touchy-feely. And the person on the other side, especially if somebody who's like been unlucky in love, or has a little bit of a low self-esteem, all this stuff will fill a void in them, and they just like can't help but be swept away and fall for it. And it's a technique. A lot of, whether the person doing the love bombing is doing it on purpose or that's just how they are, they know this way works. It's gaining control over the other person. You shower them compliments with gifts and everything in the beginning, and then you just immediately stop and you take some stuff back. And this will make the other person think,
insecure. Is it about me?
Like, there's no way he said all these beautiful things about me. There's no way this person would do this. It's a sort of brainwash. It's what a lot of cults do, actually, to bring people in. It's a very common technique of how they,
But that's it. I mean, you said it's a technique, so it's probably working. It's probably, also, because you don't want also as a let's say a man first, is to get rejection all the time. So maybe that's a technique that it's effective for women. I don't know.
I think it's more of the vulnerable women.
Yeah.
That need.
They'll know who to prey on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They find each other. It's like,
Yeah, it's more the vulnerable women that need, like, feel like there's a part missing in them, and they can only feel this with another person, with another
like that
guy.
Documentary Tinder Swindler is a perfect example of that. Did you see it?
Yes.
So that's a perfect example of somebody who love bombs, because
yeah.
in the beginning it's like the best person in the world, so many
perfect
gifts, private jet, let's go, and then he just switches. But they stay, and from the outside you're looking, you're like, a lot of people are calling these women like, oh, you're stupid for staying, blah blah blah. But unless you've been there and have this done to you, you'll never understand that they have actually been brainwashed.
Yeah.
It's not their fault. They're staying. They're not stupid. And it could happen to anyone. So I think, it's good to understand and see the signs and try to learn about it a little bit, and not quickly judge a lot of women who stay in abusive relationships. If you haven't been in one yourself, it's not that easy. It's like, well, then just leave, when they can't.
But I think it's also because the good is so good, you want to keep hold of that. That's why you keep staying. You're like, but it was so good. So like, that good can come back because it was there.
It's an addiction. Like an
really
addiction.
Is an addiction.
You want that first high back.
It's like gambling. I won at the beginning, but now I'm addicted.
That's why they do that. Don't they do that in
casinos? That's an example.
Hmm.
They let you win in the beginning and then take it away, and then now you're hooked. That's a great way to look at it. It's exactly like that.
But we since we were young as guys, we've been always told that in Arabic is just okay. Zbilat al-haqq. I don't know what's
But that's wrong. That's one of those things that we've been taught that we should rethink and reword things our young boys are being taught. Especially, men in Middle Eastern society the boys are worshipped. You know what I mean? And the girls are not. And I see it in my family, and it's become, me and my sisters like joke about it, but I see the way like my grandma used to treat me and treat my sisters. You know what I mean? I could do no wrong. And to them,
I grew up with two boys, so I've seen it from the other side as a girl.
And then when these boys grow up, they have such a sense of entitlement, huge ego. So if anything goes wrong, they just go crazy. These things need to
change. I
Absolutely.
agree. But also the women or the girls are kind of have that figure as well. They are used to this again, which is wrong. And then they are only looking for that person who has this, push and pull kind of relationship. And if somebody's nice, they'll be like, "No, you can be my friend."
I think it's the chase is what's interesting. Again, it's that rush. It's that they find it boring if someone's too nice, which I don't get. Nice guys are good. My husband's really nice. I went for a nice guy.
Well, once he's your husband, he has to be nice. I mean, but if he's your boyfriend or just at the beginning of the relationship,
no, he was nice.
He was nice.
Yeah. So right? Wasn't he nice?
Yeah, he's always nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was not the nice one.
So you're rare. You're rare.
I was the mean one,
Oh.
like the boys in the family. That was me. So, but yeah, I think that the narrative needs to change from both ends.
Yeah, like
Also the
especially
girls.
Khalijis, inti bint, like
Yeah.
just that. My cousin, like she says it all the time. They see it, and when I see their mom sort of differentiate between them and the boy, I point it out immediately in front of them, but again as a joke, and we laugh about it. But I'm pointing it out, like it's wrong, and it's not you. So I think there's ways of like talking about it, but absolutely there's especially in Khaliji communities, the boy can't do wrong.
Do no wrong.
So there's
Zahra, apps. I mean, he mentioned dating and Tinder swindler. Do you think it's acceptable to have a proper relationship through apps, through dating apps?
I don't know. I mean, I have friends that have met through dating apps and are happily married, and then I have friends that have find the apps useless, where they're like the guys are not. They just want to have fun. There's nothing fun about, or they're lying about who they are, or what they do. So I think it's just weeding through everything, and then your luck. I think you should try it. No, don't say no. I never tried it, unfortunately. I met my husband too early, but from what I've seen, I think it's just you just kind of have to play and see what works for you and what doesn't. But I really do have friends that met on Tinder and are like happily married now.
And do they say we met on Tinder?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I don't think there's shame around that anymore. Not really.
I think again in this part of the world,
it's kind of I mean, if you met a couple and say, "Hey, how did you guys meet?" Just the last thing you would want to hear, or I don't know, it's just like, "Oh, we met on Tinder." It's just still.
Well, me and my husband, we met in real world, but our relationship kind of started on Twitter. So, I mean, I guess it's kind of like an app, but it works. This is how we communicate now. So
it's how you use the apps. It's up to the person. I think the apps are great for shy people, introverts. That's something great that it's given them a tool to want to chat to people, meet people potentially romantically. Because it is difficult to go up to a person in real life and talk to them. You know what I mean? Not everybody can do it. So I think it's great for shy people. It's also how you use the app, and what app you're using. Some are known that are hookup apps. Some are known that is more, people are looking for dating more on this. And you shouldn't go with a big hope like, I'm going to find the love of my life on the app. But it's worth exploring, and I believe it's all luck, really.
Yeah, it really is. Also, I think what's good about apps is that it broadens your area. Usually without apps, you'd probably meet someone through a friend of a friend. So there's always a smaller circle. But then you can expand that and meet other people from outside your group of friends, or outside your culture, outside your country, and you can. There are 8 billion people in the world. So in that sense, apps are great, but again, it goes back to the person and how they use it, because some people are
and it's assholes. A bit safer to do it here, I feel like, if you're going to do dating apps, than like in America, for instance, where we don't have serial killers here. At least publicly.
It's just the idea for men. Probably it's harder. It's just like announcing I'm single and I'm looking for someone. For girls, it's like it's kind of easy.
It's funny you say that, because my guy friends say it's so difficult finding girls, and then my girls' friends say it's so difficult finding guys. I feel like, yes, it's easy. It's better here in terms of safety, but everyone comes specifically to Dubai for a few years to make some money and then go. So it's all temporary. So they're just looking for temporary hookups and temporary relationships. So I feel like there's that's difficult. And also I feel like women come here because, Arab men are so rich and I just want to, so there is that. But you have to kind of go through the works and find, again, with your luck, you'll find something, because it is manageable.
Yeah, what you said is right. I mean, the first thing I find it difficult here is when I came, it's just different nationalities, and people are not also willing to commit for. I wasn't willing to commit as well. I mean, it's just like, is this the place I want to stay, and this, and then the more you grow and you get mature, and then things change. But it's that thing, and you came from a background where you want to let go and accept different people and say, you know what, she could be my wife, and even if she's a different nationality, because when we come from a different country, we still have this background. Okay, I want to get some money, go back there, get the same car I dreamt of, and get the woman but we stuck here because we can't make the money so quickly as well.
And it changes you, doesn't it? So you kind of have to go with how you feel at that time, and not of this like memory or your imagination of what you wanted your life to be.
You're born here?
Yes, we're both born and raised here.
So you're lucky you didn't have that.
This is home, so we don't have to. We won't be going anywhere else, I feel.
Great. Okay, you said something about Novorish.
About what?
Aldrich, actually. Novorish. You talked, and I thought, okay, let's talk about Novorish. Novorish, you know, it's like the new rich.
New money, old money.
Yeah. So how do you know if a person is a Novorish? Novorish is French, probably.
Yeah, Novorish.
It's new rich.
Yeah.
New rich. Yeah. What are the significant things that you can know this guy is old rich or new rich?
I mean, the most obvious answer is when they're just decked out and just logos all over their, you know, Gucci, and like LV. So I feel like, I don't like LV stuff or Gucci stuff anymore, just because it's so in your face. Maybe for like shoots or something, if that's the intention. But I don't know. I've just like for the past few years, I've been obsessed with this aesthetic of like old money and just a world I wish I was a part of.
Yes. Generations of money.
Just generation wealth. You know what I mean?
Grandfathers.
These
rich.
kids that just were born into it and probably are horrible people, but they just look so beautiful doing it. Effortlessly beautiful. Exactly. You know what I mean? There's no logos anywhere. It's just
we're very different.
We're very different. They know they can spot each other out.
Yes,
because they have specific.
I think it's all
designs.
about subtlety. With them, it's about being the subtleness of their style, of their behavior, of like things they talk about, things they don't talk about. I think it's the subtlety of you can tell.
Cars as well. I mean, some rich people, they just like driving Ford, especially in USA. I mean, driving Ford cars, and then they are very rich in this. Not Lamborghinis and
no, I think they have them, but it's just for like special occasions. I think it's also a safety thing. When you have that much money, you don't want people to know, especially in the West. But I think it's about.
And I think when it comes to cars, like Lamborghini for those, I would say are ones. Well, not the new ones, the very flashy ones. I would say is new money.
Yeah.
But like
the lime green.
Aston Martin.
Yeah, there are some brands that can show that the colors play a big role. Yes.
Again, subtleness.
Subtleness. If you go black, silver, you're just like But if you paid and then that's all your money, you want to flash it and you want to show it, so you go for red.
Yeah, there's a lot of that here.
Yes. We want to show it.
Yeah, because
I don't know. I think it's embarrassing. I don't know. It makes me cringe when I see somebody just all decked out and.
I mean, there was a trend where it was all about logos. The brands were coming out with logos. But again, it's the way you also act when you're wearing them.
But those brands make those flashy ones for the people who can't really afford it to look rich. You know what I mean? And they have a whole different secret collection.
That's more
for
subtle.
like the actual.
I'm so sorry.
You can answer. It's fine.
It's okay. Sorry.
So
it's true.
Yeah, we want the secret collection.
Yes,
with the ones we can't get.
I'm kind of. I've never wear a logo. I don't like logos, especially for these big brands. But I like to wear. I like people to know that I'm wearing this brand.
Because you paid so much for it, right?
Yes.
You're also like, look, like I have I don't know if you want to say you're like rich, but you want to say, look, I do well for myself.
Yes.
You know?
There's nothing wrong with, like, if it's like a little logo here, fine. But,
Yeah.
you know, and then just mix and match.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, wear your...
A little touch here and stuff
Yeah.
is nice, but like... Yeah.
Like, your bag is a statement. Everything else is, like, just monotone, whatever. Yeah, looks nice. Shoes only. Yeah, but if it's, like, everywhere,
Yeah.
it just looks
I think
like...
when they look clean,
Yeah.
I think that's what it is, the clean look. You know, you don't want to look like you have a headache when you look at the person because there's just so much happening.
I think it's easier for men to show it. Or they can go all subtle and just wear a watch or a bit
Absolutely.
shoes.
Yeah.
You know.
It's the same with women. Let's not do that.
Okay, I like
No,
that.
it's the same with women. I think it's also picking and choosing the right designers and designs to wear to look like that, you know, to still look proper. And the right people that should know what you're wearing will know what you're wearing. And those are the people that you want to impress, they will be impressed,
Exactly.
you know? Those are the ones. You don't want to be impressing everyone. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but what I meant is like with us, we can wear a T-shirt from H&M and still look rich.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But that's also, I think that's also like a state of mind. You either have it or you don't. So you could be wearing all like high street and still look like $1 million, you know? I think, again, it goes back to the person itself and how they carry themselves.
Yeah.
You don't have to be wearing Chanel everywhere to be considered well-dressed and successful person, you know? If anything, I know people that are like super rich and then they wear H&M and they look amazing in it. Like I would be like, oh my God, is that like, I don't know, Prada? She's like, no, it's H&M. And they admit. And then I think that's more powerful than wearing like full logo.
It's so much more attractive, too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you don't care what people think. What's
Yeah.
that like?
Yeah.
And the Cartier that you stack.
Yeah.
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 They get the rose, the yellow and the white and
Again, I feel like there's so many copies of these. So everyone's wearing it.
Yeah,
So it
people
doesn't make
get
it as
those made,
special.
right? Like
Yeah.
at a gold whatever.
yeah.
There's actually a new account on, I don't know if I should say this, but there's a new account on social media called the Fake Birkin Slayer, and basically keeps posting people's posts where they're holding Birkins that are fake. And so many people are wearing fake bags. So
How do they know it?
well, if you're someone that's a big like a
experts
client or an expert, you can spot it. You know, it's not that difficult to
Weren't
spot.
a lot of people holding it at the Hermes event?
Yeah.
No way.
Yes. At the Hermes event, there was a lot of them.
Where was it? The one that was in the water?
Yeah, it was at the District 1.
Yeah.
The last big party Hermes had.
And
What's happening in Hermes? Every time I go to the mall, there's a queue.
I know, is it a sale? Buy one, get one free.
Or maybe they put people there. Because whenever there's a queue, you're just kind of like, I want to go there.
Yeah, it's crazy. I would never queue for anything. I'm sorry. I don't care what it is. I don't queue.
what if they're like, there's a free Birkin
There's
waiting
no
for you?
free Birkin. They will never happen.
They're like, well, you're so
But yeah.
special, we want to give you one.
But I guess
They're like,
people-
sorry, I don't queue.
I don't. They can send it to me. If Hermes is sending me a free bag, trust me, they're not going to expect me to queue.
But yeah,
They'll ship it like on a helicopter or something.
that's true.
But yeah, there's always lines. I guess people come here to shop. It's like a shopping destination, and they want to keep the number of clients in the store less, so it doesn't feel too, you still want that luxury experience. I mean, maybe that's what they're doing it. Maybe it's a marketing
marketing
tactics
thing.
for
It's
them to
Absolutely,
be
yeah.
like, oh my God, what is it? I want to be there, just like how you said.
Like in Corona, watch prices went super high. I mean, you go to a Rolex store and there's nothing. Like
There's
nothing, and they are so rude, and
Yeah.
I just like, yeah, we don't have anything to sell. Can I put my name? No, you can't.
Yeah.
Wish list? No.
Nothing.
It's like, no, there is a waiting list and wish list.
Like, you can wish for it.
Exactly.
We
I don't know
we
what
can give
that's
you
like,
that.
though. I don't know what wish lists are.
Yeah, they have created the wish list.
Yeah.
This is our pray list.
This is a don't even think about it list.
Not you.
Yeah.
You look like you should be on the pray list.
This is old money list that you don't look like you are. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's a marketing thing, I'm sure. Part of it is that. But also after Corona, there was a lot of delays in like shipments, and there were chips that were missing that's
Yes,
apparently
in
made
cars
in Ukraine. Yeah, because I went to go buy a car. Wish list. Again,
Yeah.
waiting list, a year waiting for a car, even secondhand, everything. So yeah, I guess part of it is marketing, part of it is what's happened in the world.
Cool. Tell me about your podcast, how it's going.
So I have a podcast with my co-host Haneen, and basically it's an interview-based podcast where we discuss people's journeys in life, whether it's in their career or, you know, their mental health and like the ups and downs of their life in general, and how they've come out from it, and what they're doing and how they're doing better, and just like more of like an inspirational, deeper talks than the fashion things that we do. So yeah, it's been really good.
It's amazing how podcast like kind of became the thing, and it's spread everywhere. I don't know. I just went to a podcast immediately after Corona without noticing that it's gonna happen. It was a coincidence, but because I was watching podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is that we were listening, and we were a bit more, I think, again, everything in the Middle East comes a bit slower than everywhere else. So I remember when we would book a studio, there was only one studio, and they're like, you don't even have to book, just come anytime, it's always empty. And then like we started in the beginning of 2021, so around that time. And then by mid 2021, they're like, you have to book 3 weeks in advance. Wow. And you have to pay, and maybe because there's like, it's packed and everyone's, but it's really nice because I feel like there's so much to discuss here in the Middle East, and everyone has a different point of view, and everyone has a different technique of interviewing or speaking. And so it's nice to see people are doing this. It's nice to hear.
People are kind of expressing themselves, and people who's listening is kind of learning, and they find out that okay, as we relate to people that we think maybe they were stars, or they were like a invincible, but they have problems like us, they feel like us, they have the, you know.
Yeah, it's a relatability again. We've got so many people commenting saying, oh my god, this is where I am in my life, and I thought that I was the only one going through this, but it's so nice to see someone as successful as the person you interviewed went through that and came out of it, and now I'm inspired to come out of it. So it's really nice to be doing things that help people rather than just posting an outfit picture on Instagram. But it's been really good. The podcast is called Candid with Haneen and Zahra.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, shameless plug.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Ahmed, any plans for podcast?
No, this is actually my first podcast ever. Really? So I'm very flattered, and thank you for having me.
It's not your last.
But you're expressing yourself in a different way and visually, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it is fun, and I guess the difference between this and like a formal interview, it kind of breaks that wall down a bit. It makes it it's more conversational. Obviously, that's what it is, and it's
raw. It's unedited. It's just like flowing. It's long. I know. I mean, people will watch part of it, or you take clips from here and there. But
it's helpful for the guests as well to get into their groove and get comfortable and open up. So I feel like the long format, that's what
I think
works.
It's nice. I think because we're so used to short format on our phones all the time, it's nice to have something long going on. And also you can put it in the background while, I don't know, you're working or washing dishes or whatever. It's nice to have it because it's like you're sitting with your friends. I think that's what's really nice about it.
Do you watch your podcast? Do you listen to your podcast? Sorry, I say watch because mine is recorded.
We don't record video, which is, I'm probably going to pick your brain to tell us how to do it. But no, initially I made Haneen listen to it. I was like, I can't listen to my voice. Like, it's so annoying. But then you kind of have to, just for editing purposes and stuff. Yeah. And, but I don't just listen to it like, oh my God, your voice is so beautiful, Zahra.
Why I ask this? Because I have the same feeling. It's just like these insecurities that we have inside. It's just like, I didn't do here well, or is it good? Is it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, for someone like me that's super insecure, I've really put myself out there, and it's hard, but afterwards it's kind of nice to see when someone says, actually, I enjoyed it. So but yeah, it's so difficult. Why did I say that word? Or I said it in this tone, or
But then when you don't give a shit about
Yeah.
things, and things that will be so amazing, you give more and better, and you relate to people. People comes, as you said, like this is what happened with me. I was like, it's so much like, have this tension and insecurity, and how I'm gonna do it, who I am to do this, and who am I, and then you get a lot of people relate to you and say, you know what, you expressed what we were saying, or your guests have said this and that, and they give you a lot of nice, amazing energy.
See, I would never have thought that of you. You don't give me that impression. So see, it's in ourselves, but people from the outside don't see it like
this
that.
is what my parents told me. My father told me, oh, I never had this thought about it. Just like, maybe you haven't tried or something. But it's just like, I don't know. I mean, I never thought I would do this as well. And but because we are afraid, not because we can't.
But then look how successful it is. So you're doing wonderful. Something right. Which is good.
I mean, it's amazing. It's very شو بيقولوا therapeutical.
Therapeutic. It helps with your confidence. I feel like talking on camera is something I didn't do until last year. And it's just
now look at you. You should
look
stop
at
doing
me go.
it. Maybe you should stop. No, I'm kidding.
But confidence was a huge thing for me, and that's definitely helped me come out of my shell. And not when I accidentally hear my voice, I don't go like, you know what I mean? Before, I'd never hear it, and then I hear in the background, I'm like, that's what I sound like. But like you said, not giving a shit is just like so freeing.
And also people are changing. They use, like, the bullying is getting less and less. We used to say one word and they laugh at us in school and how did we say it and this, and so these things are getting less. Do you talk about mental health in you?
Yeah, so we focus on that a lot because I feel, both me and Haneen have gone through lots of hardships in our lives mentally, and I feel like especially after COVID, so many other people have as well. So this is something that we discuss because in our culture, we don't really talk about these things. So it's nice to have an open conversation and let people know that they're not alone if they're going through anything. Because when I was going through it, I felt like I was alone. Actually, if it wasn't for Ahmed, look, see, he doesn't take a compliment. If it wasn't for Ahmed, I don't know where I would be. He really helped me come out of my depression. So you need someone to be there for you, and we're hoping that our podcast gets to someone that's, if they're going through something like that, helps them come out of it.
Amazing. And Ahmed, I mean, how did you become a doctor, psychologist?
I've just, I think for the past 20 years, I've been in therapy, in and out of therapy. I've been on and off medication for anxiety and depression, and I've done a lot of different styles of therapy, and there's different tools for certain things. There's things for grief, things for trauma, and I wholeheartedly believe in it. And whether you do have a very specific thing you're going through or not, I think therapy is great for anybody to just get to know yourself a bit more, understand how your mind works, and what your triggers are, what makes you tick, why certain things upset you. It's just great for everybody, but the key is to find the right therapist. Sometimes that can be challenging, so it's good to, and it's a lot of trial and error. You go see a bunch of people and find somebody you're comfortable with.
Everyone should.
Yes, and it's you mentioned the culture here, or it's sometimes we feel like, okay, is it something wrong if I have this, and also I don't want to be talking about men always, but I mean, this is what I felt is like, no, I can't.
You have to be strong.
I have to be strong, and when I went to a psychiatrist, it was like, just give me the medicine and let me out. I didn't believe, and I didn't even try to treat myself in a way where it maybe there's some I don't know. I didn't go through these treatments, therapists, and this just give me any medicine that. remove the stress and anxiety, and I just want to go back to work, and I'm okay, you know. But just like you live with it, and you don't admit in a way, because you don't want to admit.
It's funny how people think that's a weakness when it's the complete opposite, to admit and be vulnerable about asking for help and stuff. It takes a lot of courage to people. So yeah, it'd be great if people start looking at it that way, instead of it's easy to hide and not talk about it, that we can all do it, we can all go into denial and stuff, but we're just hurting ourselves at the end of the day. It just becomes, it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it just snowballs into worse things, whether it's at work or your personal life. When I started seeing a therapist, I mentioned it to my mother, and the first thing she said, she's like, "You're not crazy. Are you crazy?" Like, she was like, "So this is like haram what you did, you know?" And then eventually she saw that I was getting so much better in everything, you know, just like the way my reaction is, how I'm not as sad as I used to be, and how I'm actually going out and working and doing the things I love because the therapy really helped me. And she's like, you know what, actually that's so good. And this is something that people should, even if you're having one small issue at work, just to speak to someone and find the root issue of it really, really helps. And it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah. Therapy is great, guys.
Yeah, it's great.
How do you practice therapy? Let's say outside the doctor's side, you know, do you do therapy in a way like you travel, you can do yoga, you do I don't know them because I don't know. I don't
So
use
it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
So you have to see what works for you. What do you do?
There's different. For me, it's just emotional things that I understood and learned about myself and behavior stuff that I would do wrong. I'm a very reactive person, you know. I immediately, something's wrong, right? I want to react. So learning to not be that reactive so fast, because I almost every time I react to whatever it is, I feel bad afterwards, or I'll either go apologize to them. Or
you criticize yourself a lot, like kind of like blame yourself.
Very hard on myself. I think that comes with just being a perfectionist. It's just being a perfectionist is not a good thing.
No.
You know, you can never, you put the bar so high for yourself that you can never, and you forget all the good stuff you're doing, and you just dwell on that one thing I messed up in, and you just like, you feel like you failed. So just understanding these things, being self-aware, that's what I mean about like therapy. You know what I mean? That, okay, this is not actually true. I know I'm feeling this. I have the words to express myself, you know? You feel better. Maybe not immediately, but it's better than before when I didn't understand it. You know, I didn't know that I was a perfectionist and, you know, why I'm so upset about it. Now I know. I still get upset. That's normal, you know? It's okay to be sad as well. That's the other thing. It's like when I'm sad, it's like, something's wrong. It's like, no, well, the humans, we get sad. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. Even on medication, you know, I've kind of found a balance. I'm not completely numb from it, but also medication, I feel like for me, if you're not doing the therapy part, after a while, it's going to lose its effect. It's good in the beginning to give you that push to wanna change. I know a lot of people don't believe in medication, but for me, I went back and forth, you know, for the past 20 years. Now I'm finally I'm like, you know what? I'm better on medication. And why am I fighting it? You know, my brain just doesn't release those chemicals that's needed to do everyday normal things. You know, just picking up a phone is very difficult if I'm not on it when I see an unknown number. When some people are like, that's insane that you can. Like, to me, it's just, it takes so much effort to reply to an email, to be in social settings. You know what I mean? And if I'm not, I want to self-medicate. I want to have a drink in my hand if I'm not. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not, you got to be able to do these everyday mundane things. So I accepted the fact, I'm like, okay, I need that little push. I'll take the medication. But I also have to do the therapy part every once in a while, just to grow and be a better person. And
when we raise
it's hard.
she said, I just remember the sofa thing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's something we know about because we feel in this. And you mentioned, well, for me, it's just raising the bar and being always trying to be perfect and putting all your effort in probably one place, which is work and hard work and get,
Balance is so hard.
balance is so hard because we express ourselves with the thing that we do the best, and then we
Right.
put everything in one basket and we put it there.
Absolutely.
And we
Yeah.
kind of like and we get anxiety if this thing's gonna go away because that's the only thing we have, because we don't have the balance.
Because we put so much pressure on work and making that our identity, that if we don't do well at work, that means we're not a
Yes.
good person.
Yes.
Because our identity is so attached to our work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still get I get super anxious before I go into events with what I do. I always go attend events all the time, but the anxiety I get before, I take so much effort to not cancel and just like go like, forget, I'm just not gonna go. So I sit in my car and I like sit for 10
There were times where you
minutes.
sit in the car, call me.
Yeah,
And
and
be
I'm
like,
like,
could you just stay on?
I'm dying. Like I can't. Like it's so.
And I'm like, haven't you done this for the past 10 years? Just walk in. It's the
Yeah.
same 20 people you see every time.
Yeah, but it's tough, because in your head there's so many things going on that you need to bring yourself back. And by going through therapy, it's taught me how to stop that overthinking and that over analyzing of everything that I do to not disappoint people or not make a fool of myself at an event. So it's about like all the breathing and just remembering who you are and like the triggers, understanding what your triggers are. So yeah, therapy really helps.
Let's breathe all together.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming
Thank
to the
you.
therapy session.
Thank you so much.
It was great having you.
Thank you so much. It was
You're
really
amazing friends, and I mean, I wish anybody. I mean, you're
could be our
lucky.
friend.
Yeah, I wish.
Join us.
good. You can be our friend.
Our cult.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
It
you
was
so
lovely
much.
having you.
Thank you. Thank you
Great.
so much.